What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast. If you have not subscribed yet, do go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get into this podversation. Now, I know the story is about a week old, but I'm just getting the opportunity to really speak about this, and more has come out since the viral video came out where it appears that some people or a person who works at the Sesame Place amusement park that's dressed up in this suit and, you know, the fuzzy character that the person is dressed up as. And forgive me, I don't know who the person or the character is because I don't have any little children and I've never been into Sesame Street. So I don't know all of the characters except Elmo, Cookie Monster, and Bert and Ernie. Like, those are the names that I remember hearing about as a child and even into adulthood. I think even when my son was a little child, I got him a Tickle Me Elmo, and he could care less about it. But anyway, the story about the Sesame Place possible racial discrimination, because some mothers claimed that their children were ignored and that they felt that the theme park should be responsible for having people who are working there that are going to treat all of the children, no matter what ethnicity they are, no matter what color their skin is, whatever, they would be treated the same way. And they said that the mothers of the children said that their children were skipped over when they were wanting to get high fives from the character. The story says the character of Rosita. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this, I didn't really want to talk about it like everyone else was talking about it, in terms of, I can't believe this happened. Sesame Place should be more responsible for who they're hiring and all of these different things like this. Okay, now it's coming out that they're facing a $25 million lawsuit following racial discrimination claims from amusement park participants. So the story is that the popular children's theme park Sesame Place might be paying out millions due to their staff's questionable behavior. As you may already know, earlier this month, a now viral clip was shared online of a black family seemingly being discriminated against while visiting Sesame Place in Philadelphia. In the video, it appears like the Sesame Place character Rosita purposely ignores two black girls but interacts with the white participants. Initially, following the public outrage surrounding the incident, Sesame Place seemingly tried to deny claims of racism within the park. However, as more videos came out from black families with similar stories, the theme park issued another statement promising to train their staff better. And their statement was, "We sincerely apologize to the family for their experience in our park on Saturday. We know that it's not okay. We are taking actions to do better. We are committed to making this right. We will conduct training for our employees so they better understand, recognize, and deliver an inclusive, equitable, and entertaining experience to our guests. For over 40 years, Sesame Place has worked to uphold the values of respect, inclusion, and belonging. We are committed to doing a better job making children and families feel special, seen, and included when they come to our parks." But the story continues, but it seems like that apology came a little too late. So the Burns family, a different family than the one that was seen in the viral video, filed a class action lawsuit against Sesame Place for the discrimination they allegedly experienced while visiting the park. According to the suit, the Maryland family is claiming that during their own trip to the infamous park on June 18th, their 5-year-old, who is black, was purposely ignored by 4 Sesame Place characters. The suit adds that the characters had no issue interacting with white families and children. The lawsuit alleges that SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, Inc. engages in pervasive and appalling race discrimination against children in the operation of Sesame Place, Philadelphia. And the Burns family is seeking $25 million in damages. So this is what I want to get into. One, being a small business owner myself, definitely Sesame Place is not a small business. I don't believe it's defined as one. But being a small business owner myself, so being a business owner and also being a former legal assistant and one that just, I really despise frivolous lawsuits. And this is, listen to what I'm saying before you judge. And before you think that I'm against the families of those who claim that when they visited the park, their children were not high-fived, their children were not hugged, their children did not get their hands shaken, their children's heads didn't get patted on, their children did not get the attention that the counterparts received. They said that the white children, but you know, it could have been Hispanic children. It could have been Indian American children. It could have been Indian children. It could have been a number of other children that were acknowledged, while they say that their children, who are African American, Black, you know, whatever you want to call them, were not given the attention, and they claim were racially discriminated against. All right. I don't know the way Sesame Place handles how they hire people, what tests they have them involved in to see if they are going to be the right fit to, one, deal with children, and two, deal with children that may not be the same race as they are. Because here's the thing that I just wanted to talk about with this story. I'm not saying that I am for the children that got ignored, like the parents claim they were, being ignored. When you're a little child, it can seem weird to you. It's like, I'm here. I want to get a high five. I want to get a hug. I'm trying to get that. And they skipped over me and they went to the other kids. Why, mommy? Why, dad? Why did that happen? I feel that that is the opportunity, because the fact of the matter is, I'm not saying that it is okay for people to be racist. But the unfortunate matter is, we live in a world, and if you're in the United States like I am, we live in a country where there are people who do not like others who are not like them. Period. And no, it doesn't feel good, but that's the world that we live in. That is the society that we're in. And sometimes you're going to encounter that. Someone like myself who is from the South, I can say that I've seen it. I've even experienced it. Does it feel good? Absolutely not. But it's the real, it's the truth. It's the real deal. So I don't know how you have a conversation where a child would understand it at the age of 5, or, you know, however old these children were. But that doesn't mean that the entire company is a racist organization. And I'm just saying this because people slip through the cracks. People have their days. People don't sometimes do what the company requires them to do. And we're also living in a time where so many companies are dealing with staff shortages. So I'm not saying that, oh, because they're having staff shortages, they just have to have some racist people on the staff to dress up in the costumes, and they may skip over some kids that don't look like their children or their grandchildren or their nieces and nephews or their friends' children or whatever. So no, I'm not saying that. But to now see that Ben Crump, check and cash chasing Ben Crump, is on the case, and he's filed this civil rights racial discrimination case, I just feel that this is really a bit too much. Again, I'm not saying that I am for what the people did, and I am in I am in no way, shape, or form saying that, oh, just, just let it go. I'm not even saying that. I'm not saying that they should just let it go. Should it be addressed? Absolutely. But is a $25 million lawsuit a bit too much? In my opinion, I would say absolutely yes. Why does it have to be that? Like, I can't put a number or a dollar amount on someone's child's hurt, anger, not understanding why, all of those different things. But I can guarantee you that there are so many of you who are listening to this conversation right now that has experienced something on a high level of disregard and disrespect that we would love to be compensated for it, but will we be compensated for it? More likely not than we would. And $25 million, again, I get it. As a former legal assistant, I know what this is about. Because if this were to get into a court and a jury is reviewing this, more likely than not, they would find in favor of the employer, Sesame Place, the company. Because should the entire company and organization be responsible for some knuckleheads that they have on staff that are doing things that is not in their employment practices to do? And so, again, I'm in no way saying that I own a company that is as large as Sesame Place, but I know that I can say in my years of having employees, people come and people go. Sometimes people you have on staff, they have all of the check marks checked, all of their T's crossed, and all of their I's dotted, where it involves the type of persons and personalities that you want to have on your staff. But it doesn't always stay that way. And sometimes people slip through the cracks and they are not what you want, and you let them go once you find out. So I would say enforce a possible review and maybe termination, if not suspension, of the persons who were working these shifts dressed in those suits, who they felt were not treating the children fairly and skipped over them in favor of the white children or the other ethnicity children, and give the families some free passes and merch, or, whatever, giving them, something like that, where the children would be honestly, from an experience perspective, more happy about than giving these families, the parents, $25 million. Because let's face it, if it were really about the children and they were wanting to have the park and the company make the situation right, then it would be something along those lines versus going and hiring Ben Crump, who, in my opinion, is one of the biggest ambulance chasers that we know about in this day and time, that represents the families of deceased that were either wrongfully taken out by police officer or police officers. But I don't really see a much of, him helping people who are really still here. So now to see something like this, I just feel like he's done this because he feels that, oh, well, they're going to settle. This is bad exposure for them. This is getting a lot of media coverage because that's the type of cases that he takes on. We know he took on with the help of a lot of other attorneys because he's just one person, and there's so many people that were involved in that Astroworld concert that happened, and some people unfortunately lost their lives and a lot of people were injured. He wants to hold Travis Scott and all of these other the company that handles the concert. I can't remember the name of it at this moment as I'm recording this conversation, but you know who I'm talking about. is it Live Nation? I think that's the name of it. I can't really remember. If I'm wrong about that, don't sue me. But filing a racial discrimination case against Sesame Place for $25 million, I feel is excessive. Again, I'm not saying that my feelings on that makes the feelings that the family felt and the children felt unworthy of having some sort of rectification happen for them, but I don't believe $25 million is it. I don't. So I'm going to play a little clip of this press conference that was held, and then I'm going to get back into my conversation.
Bring up Attorney Ben Crump.
Great job. Thank you so much, Attorney Lamar. And I wanted to tell you just what a privilege it is to stand with Attorney Lamar, one of the best young lawyers in America working today. We've worked on a lot of tragic campaigns involving video, and this is certainly one of them. Also present with us is Attorney O'Neill and Dr. Tiffany Crutcher, who's here at the Rock Nation Social Justice Summit, and she's with Sisters of the Movement. Her brother, tragic killing, was captured on video as well. So video is a critical part of this discussion today. It is appropriate that we're here at the Social Justice Summit, Tanya Wiley, because we are here to discuss not only issues, but solutions. That's right. And that is the critical thing here for SeaWorld. Yeah. What is the solution? SeaWorld being the parent company of Sesame Place. And so when I look at Miss Brown and I look at these beautiful angels, B. Ivory, I think back to what Maya Angelou said. She said that people will often forget what you say. People will often forget what you do. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And for Miss Brown's daughter and niece, you saw the video. You look in their eyes when Rosette just ignores them as if they are invisible, as if they're insignificant, not worthy of consideration and attention. And it's such a difficult thing for Miss Brown and her family to have to explain to her 6-year-old daughter and 6-year-old niece about racism.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there because this video press conference, it was probably a little bit longer, but it's about a little over 5 minutes, and I don't want to play the entirety of it. But you heard what he said. The press conference, the mother and the 2 little girls are there amongst other people. For him to, and I get it, this is why I'm talking about this again. As a former legal assistant, one of the reasons why I got out of the legal field, because it is so slimy. I understand that the legal field is necessary. It's a necessary evil, unfortunately, but the legal system is crap. It's not just crap when it comes to how people get charged in the criminal justice system. I never worked in the criminal section, but I worked on the civil side. And I know how frivolous it is. And I also know how when you were really wronged, how you just don't really get the justice that is due. I'm going through a lawsuit right now. I was involved in a car accident last year where I was really injured. My car was totaled. The girl was extremely negligent. It wasn't just, oops, I'm sorry this happened. I couldn't avoid it. She darted out trying to beat me to get in front of me so that she can get into the intersection to get on the other side. And there was no way she would have been able to do it. And the other side, they don't want to give me anything for my injuries, let alone my pain and suffering. And it's really ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just talking about how the legal system is just really crap. But then you have situations like this where this, I feel, I'm just going to be beautifully honest, whether it's an unpopular opinion or a popular opinion, it's a frivolous lawsuit. $25 million because these two little girls were treated wrong by somebody that the park employs. I am not saying that what that person did was okay. I am not. But again, as someone who is an employer, sometimes shit happens where you cannot control how people act in a moment. I remember once one of my employees was having a bad day. So she took it out on a client in her attitude, and then the client went online to leave a negative review. I thankfully have someone that works on my staff who can reach out to the clients and really get to the bottom of the situation to find out what's going on and get them to remove that negative review and give them the opportunity to make the situation right. But what if this person wanted to be petty and go and file a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because of the way an employee made her feel? Because that's actually what it was. It wasn't that she received a service that the outcome wasn't what she wanted. She didn't like the attitude of the person that was serving her, and that chick was not right in her actions of how she treated this client because she was having a bad day. But as an employer of the company that she works in, is that my fault? No, we cannot control people and how they act at every waking moment that they are working on a job. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. I just don't think that this is right. I don't think that it was right how the children were treated. I get it, but this press conference and having the little children there is to play on the emotions. It's to continue to give the company bad press so that they will be pressured into, no, you may not be paying $25 million, but we're going to get a large grand sum out of you in some way, shape, or form because we want to damage your brand and we want to cause you to lose dollars. So if you don't want to lose more and continue to get bad press, we're going to pressure you to pay a huge lump sum, of which Ben Crump and the other attorneys are going to split either 33 and a third % of whatever they get. Or more, depending on what their state is and their agreements are. It's usually 33 and a third %. They're in this for money. Ben Crump is not doing this pro bono. And if you don't know what pro bono means, it's you are donating your time for the sake of the cause. He ain't donating his time for anybody, okay? So he's living really, really well. And all of the things that he attaches himself to, it is to make a really large sum of money without really having to put in much effort. And I get it. I mean, that's the world we live in now, where a lot of people really don't want to work and put in much effort to make a lot of money, but it's just not realistic. But I digress. What are your thoughts on this situation? Because again, I don't want it to come across that I don't have any sympathy or empathy for it. Because when I first heard about it, I'm a woman. I'm a mother. I don't have little kids, but I'm also African American, and I know what it feels like to have someone make me feel like I'm less than because of the way that I was born. I didn't choose to be African American. I'm thankful for who I am, but if someone doesn't like me because of who I am and because of the way I was born, that's their problem. And I feel that it is that mother or aunt, because Ben Crump said that she was standing there with her daughter and niece, it is their responsibility to teach their children. And if the situation happens when it happens, that is the time where you need to teach them. So for him to say, how can she teach her children? How can she teach them about racism? It's her responsibility to, because we live in a world where the heat is even higher now. The temps are higher now because of the flames that have been fanned with things that happened during the previous administration. And some people just felt a little bit more emboldened, or a lot more emboldened, to say how they feel about people. And even when Obama was in office, a lot more people just really got pissed off and angry because he was a biracial man and they didn't like it. So it just is the world and society that we live in, where it is your responsibility to teach your children that there are people that are just not going to like you because of who you are, what you look like, the way you were born, and it's not okay. It's not right. You shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, it seems that the person, I don't even know if they would say the person, but it seems like the Rosita character may be welcoming and things when you see them on TV, but visiting the park and seeing this character perform in person, they brushed you off. And I am so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry that she treated you that way, but you are loved, you are special, and present it to the company, present it to the HR department. Sometimes you do have to blast things on social media so that you can get a response, but should the outcome be $25 million? I don't think so. I think they should have gotten some passes, some free passes, maybe a season pass, a 2-year, whatever. I don't know. Giving them some merch, giving them the opportunity to visit the park and take pictures and, have photo sessions and, and things like that with the characters of the park and something like that. Something where it's not going to make it look like, because that's how I see it, you're just out for a cash grab, period. But those are just my thoughts. You can let me know yours in the comment section. And again, guys, this is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest.